Hi everyone, and welcome back to another session of Founder Sessions. And today I'm doing it solo because I want to reflect on the past 19 episodes of the podcast. We started the podcast back in January of this year, and I've got to say it's been a great adventure. I'm absolutely loving sharing stories, talking about entrepreneurship, and just meeting awesome people along the way. Session 20, we're just going to talk. I'm going to share 20 lessons from 20 sessions. And I hope you've been enjoying the sessions that we've done so far. They're only going to get better and better. For those that are new here, Founder Sessions is a podcast that helps people relate to the reality of startup life. Let's get into these 20 lessons from 20 sessions. Lesson number 1 has been talked about a few times on the podcast, and that is play into your strengths. Now, what this means is if you're not a technical founder, but you're really good at talking to customers or sales, then focus on that. Play into your strength. If you're technical, work on the product side. Understand what your strength is and play into it, and get people involved that can fill in those gaps and help you on your journey of being awesome and making things that really make a difference. So lesson 1, play into your strengths. Lesson 2 is people is everything. Now this links to building teams, this links to being invested in your startup community. It's a lonely journey being an entrepreneur, so putting people around you to make that journey less lonely, less stressful, less of a burden is so important. People that can pull you up when you're feeling down and elevate you when you're on a high. People is everything. That is simply lesson 2. Lesson 3 is celebrate the little wins. This journey, this road in entrepreneurship is long. You know, your idea could start and be an idea into a company, into a unicorn over the next 20 years. That's a long time. So you need to celebrate those little wins. Pick up them little wins that can motivate you to keep on going, keep that momentum, keep you ticking over until you reach your big goals. So lesson 3, celebrate the little wins. Lesson 4 is quite a big one, and I think it's been mentioned on every single session, and I truly believe that it has, and that is don't fear failure. Failure and entrepreneurship go hand in hand. You are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up along the way. But don't fear it. Take that leap of faith. Try new things. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Learn from it and grow. Lesson 4, don't fear failure. Lesson 5 is everything takes time. I mentioned before, your idea, from idea to unicorn, could take 10 years. Who knows? That's a long time. That's a long time of building and marketing and sales and team building. But if you're committed and you want to make your idea flourish, you've got to understand that everything takes time. Your personal growth as an entrepreneur takes time. Your growth of your company takes time. Lesson 5, everything takes time. Lesson 6 is progress over perfection. We live in a world that seems to be behind a filter. Everything's perfect, everything's pretty and bright colours, and everything's great in the world. And people reflect that in their work. They strive for perfection. They perfect and perfect and perfect, and they're still not happy with it. Perfect, in my opinion, subjective. My perfect could be different to your perfect. That's why you just need to make progress. I've heard stories of people just trying to build something and make it perfect and perfect and perfect, but in reality, they're wasting time. You really need to get to a minimum point where you can get your product into somebody's hands. Get that feedback so you can make more progress. Simply put, it's never going to be perfect. Think about your phone, for example. iPhone, what does it up to? 13? There's still things on that phone that people don't like. Do Apple think their phone is perfect? No. That's why they keep building more models. Yeah, to make money as well, but they try to constantly improve their product because it's never going to be perfect. Like I said, perfect is subjective. So you just got to keep making progress, get that feedback, and simply understand it isn't going to be perfect. So lesson 6, progress over perfection. Number 7 is engage in your community. If you watched the podcast, you will know how big community is to me. Community is everything. And as a startup, as a solo founder, as an entrepreneur, you need to engage in your community. Because these are going to be the people that you grow alongside with. And the beauty about community is you meet people from different stages of their journey. You meet early stage founders who are building something and they're seeking advice, or you meet the experienced heads. They've been there, they've done it, they've got the t-shirt, and you meet everybody in between. But you wouldn't meet them unless you engage in your community, whether that's online, over LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, or in person by going to events and just being part of that community. Plus, people you meet there could become your new friends, your new co-founder. You never know. So engage in your community, because it leads into my next lesson, which is lesson 8. Community is key. If you engage in your community and you harness the power of that community, you can reach more people. If you attend an event and meet someone new, they can introduce you to someone that you've never thought you'd meet before. Community is so key, especially for early stage, very early stage. If you can tap into your community and meet new people, that's something amazing. And you might not necessarily do business with people in your community, but you'll be making new friends, you'll be learning about new projects, and use that as motivation. So yeah, lesson 8, community is key. Lesson 9, a very important one, is don't ignore your mental health. If you need a break, you need to just step away from the computer for a few hours, do it. Because I've seen a lot of startup founders, a lot of entrepreneurs just pack it in, quit, get up off the chair, I'm done. Simply because of burnout. Burnout is real. Mental health is real. And it's scary. So if you're watching this today, reach out to a fellow founder. Ask, are they okay? Have a chat. Because you never know. That's the scary thing about mental health. You never know what someone's going through. So just reach out. If you think of anyone off your top of your head by watching this, just reach out, drop them a message, say how they're doing. It goes back to that community. Just let's take care of one another, because, it's a long road, it's a stressful road, but together we can make it more manageable. So very important, lesson 9, don't ignore your mental health. And lesson 10 links into the past few lessons, and that is talk more. As founders, talk more to fellow founders. Learn what they're doing. If they're doing something interesting that can go into your company, to me, that's a win. Talk more, because it links to mental health, it links to community. Just talk more, learn more, and do awesome things. Lesson 11 is learn to deal with rejection. Rejection, alongside failure and alongside entrepreneurship, they go hand in hand. Rejection comes in the form of an investor saying, you know what, we're not really interested in your idea. Rejected. A customer, oh, this isn't really for me. Rejected. Rejection is part and parcel of this game, and if you learn how to deal with it, if you learn how to learn from it, rejection is just another thing that happens. One thing I would say is don't dwell on that rejection too much. Get rejected, deal with it, and go again. So lesson 11, learn how to deal with rejection. Lesson 12 is one really for very early stage founders, or those entrepreneurs thinking of an idea of a business. And that is, be honest with yourself. I've talked about this a lot, and it mainly relates to our current sort of lifestyle. Be honest with yourself. Do you want to commit 10, 20, 30 years growing an idea into a business? Are you committed to doing that? Because nowadays everything's so quick. TikTok, for example, Instagram Reels, quick media, quick snackable content, quick. People kind of want that in their career, but that's not always the case. So I think being honest with yourself and thinking, are you in this for a quick win, or are you here for the long term? Yes, you can achieve quick wins and be very successful, but are you prepared to commit yourself to doing that? Or is it just going to be a half-assed idea that you fall out of love with and then revert into something more comfortable? Be honest with yourself, because I think if you're honest with yourself, you can hold yourself accountable. You can become more self-aware of yourself as an entrepreneur. So lesson 12 is be honest with yourself. Lesson 13 is learn from everything. Learn from your wins, learn from your losses. You know, if you've achieved something great, reflect on it. Why was that good? Why did that work? What steps did we take to win this? And for losses, why did we lose? What were the steps that led to that failure? But learn from both sides. Because if you're learning from both sides, I feel you could just deal with situations a lot better. So lesson 13, learn from your wins and losses. 14 is simply help others. Goes back to community, goes back to mental health. Helping others achieve their little wins can have a big benefit on you as an entrepreneur. Not only does it make you feel pretty good helping someone else to make them achieve something good, it shows to the community that you're present. You're present in the community. You're willing to help others. You give back to your community. You give back to a fellow founder. But help others and accept help from others. If you're struggling with something, reach out. Get that help. You help others, they help you. So lesson 14, help others. Lesson 15 is seeking sources of truth. You know, seeking sources of truth was discussed with Joseph Wazinski when he was talking about seeking oracles. It's what Rob Napoli would consider your personal board of advisors. If you are struggling with something in your business, whatever it may be, reach out to your community, reach out to your personal board of advisors and get some no nonsense, no bullshit truth, because that is so key. You don't want people that's just going to be like, oh, it's alright, you'll be alright tomorrow. You don't need that. You need someone to tell you how it is, work through that problem, and not be afraid to tell you how it is. So lesson 15 is seek sources of truth. Lesson 16 is get out of your comfort zone. Try new things. Fail. If you're a technical founder who doesn't really talk to customers that much, try it. Feel that uncomfortable feeling. Because I think when you're out of your comfort zone, that's where you really grow. That's where you really learn about yourself as an entrepreneur. So important. So lesson 16, get out of your comfort zone. Lesson 17 is simply be yourself. Be yourself. Be authentic. Be you. I've learned this from Rob Napoli's, speaking to him on our podcast and speaking on his podcast, reading his book, The Social Soul. Be authentic. People buy into that. They don't want to see this fake reality bullshit. They just want to see authentic, good, honest people. So just be yourself. And when things happen, when you're being yourself, that is the true reality. Be human, is all I would say. So lesson 17, be you, be yourself. Lesson 18, be nice. Just be nice. There's no need to be an arsehole. Let's be honest. Just be a good, honest, nice person. Treat others how you want to be treated, I think is the good quote for that. So lesson 18, just be nice. Lesson 19 and lesson 20, I should say, is never lose that love for what you're doing. Yes, you'll be rejected. Yes, you will fail, but never lose that love. Keep going, keep learning, keep growing as an entrepreneur, and that will lead you to great things. And lesson 20 is simply enjoy it. Entrepreneurship, building a startup, it's a long, hard, stressful journey, but it's rewarding. Like we've said, celebrate those little wins, keep the motivation going, and when things get tough, don't be afraid to take a break, have a chat with someone, and get it off your chest. That's so important. So those are 20 lessons from 20 sessions. I will be writing them up into a little blog post, I guess, if you want to read them. But, those are just 20 lessons of so many lessons that I've learned from doing this podcast and speaking to some great people. Thank you to every guest that's been on the podcast so far. Thank you to you for listening and watching and engaging and all that great stuff. It really does mean a lot. I've got a bit of an announcement for the podcast. I'm sitting on about 170 something clips from the podcast. Some of them have been posted on social media already, but there's a ton and tons and tons of value in these clips that I simply have not shared yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put founder sessions on TikTok, and on there we're going to be daily clips. So check it out. It's probably in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go give me a follow on TikTok. If you like daily, snackable, value nuggets of content, then that's what's going to be there. But this is the end of session 20. Edited down. It's probably going to be a short and snappy episode. But yeah, like I said before, thank you so much for just getting involved with the podcasts. I love doing them, and I hope you're getting some great value out of them as well. Be sure to check out my website, www.foundersessions.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Make sure you go check out the previous sessions on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I've been Carl Murray, the host of Founder Sessions, and thank you.